Dear friends, welcome back to Automate with Rakesh. In this video, we are going to learn one more new concept, that is dot where method. How does it work? What is the syntax? What it returns as an output? Everything we are going to learn in detail. So let's get started. So for this video, first we will get an introduction of dot where, and then we are going to solve some of the problems. The very first problem, we will filter all even numbers from an array of integers. We will find out only the even numbers. We'll filter that. Next, we will filter a list of strings where the word hi is present. Filter words containing hi. So you can see the list of string. In this 1, 2, 3, this word doesn't contain hi. So we have to filter. Then we'll also try to work with a data table. So if you see, this data table contains lot of different items. Out of this, we have to filter the mango. So you can see this row, the third row contains mango, and the sixth row also contains mango. So we need to filter that. So let's get started. And skipping video might lead to loss of key concepts. So in-depth learning is essential. So let's get started. Let us see what is a where method. What is its purpose? The primary goal of dot where method is to filter elements based on specified condition. So the main work is to filter elements based on condition. Now, how do you write this? Let's look at the syntax. So for example, data table dot where, and you write your lambda function, and then we will define the filter condition based on which your output we need to convert that to certain format as you need, to array, to list, copy to data table, depending on the requirement you have. Now it returns, what it returns is very important. We will see this in a practical demo. For example, if I apply this where on a data table, then it returns I innumerable. So remember, when you see this word I innumerable, remember a simple word I'm going to give you. The word is collection. Remember collection. When you see this, simply say collection of data rows, collection of integers, collection of strings. So like that you have to remember when you see this collection. Okay. INumerable, convert that to collection and read it, collection of data rows. Okay. So now if I apply a filter on a data table, it gives me a collection of data rows. If I apply that on an array of integers, which contains multiple integers, it gives me a return. In return, it gives me a collection of integers based on your condition. If I apply that on a list of strings, it gives me a collection of strings. Getting it? Now let's see. You got a basic understanding. Now let's move on to UiPath Studio and see all this in a practical. Moving on to UiPath Studio, let me first tell you, I have declared or defined an array of integers. So if you see it here, new int32, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 until 10. This is the array of integers. And the variable type, I have written it as array of integers. Now here our main requirement is to write a LINQ query which can filter out all the even numbers from the array. So here how many even numbers you have? 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. How can you write a LINQ query which will do the job? Let's see that. The very first thing, I'm going to drag and drop the assign activity. Okay, assign activity. And then here we have to write the query. Let me click here. And let us expand it. First of all, let me use the variable which contains the array, which is the variable int array a. Okay, integer array of a. So this is the variable which contains my entire data. Here I'll apply the method called where. And this method, I have to write it within the parenthesis. So the very first thing, we have to define the lambda function, right? How you write the lambda function? You write function within parenthesis, you write x, and then you write x, this will be your condition. Next you write the condition. So what is the condition here? X mod 2. That means when you divide by 2, that single number coming from the array, that should be equals to 0. So if it is an even number, if you divide by 2, the remainder will be 0. So the remainder should be 0. So this is the condition that I have written. So from here to here it is a condition. Here to here is the lambda function, which will iterate through that entire array. Okay, now if I write this, what it's going to return? It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is going to return 2, then it is going to return 4, then it is going to return 6, then it is going to return 8, then it is going to return 10. Now this is a collection of what? Integers. It is going to give you a INumerable of integers, means collection of integers is going to return. Because the values are integers, it is going to return a collection of integers. Remember this word, it is going to return the collection of integers. So let me save it. So once I have written this, then we have to create a variable. Let me create a variable. Let's say OP. Now here if you write OP, by default it creates your output variable as a string. Now it is very important while you are learning to look at the error. What the error says, cannot assign from type system.collection.generic INumerable system int 32. That means it's a collection of integers. It is saying you cannot assign the collection of integers to a string. Okay, that means you have to create an array. That is the first thing comes to our mind. So let me go to variable, and if I simply go and create an array of integers. Now if I click here, now the error should go, right? It is an array of integers. Now what is the problem happening here? Let me open a notepad and type it. These concepts are important for a beginner to understand, right? So what happened? The the LINQ query that we have written, what it is returning? It is returning INumerable of what? Collection of integers it is returning, right? Int 32. The output variable, what kind you have created? You have created a array of integers like that you have created. So this data type is different from this data type, yes or no? This is a array of integers, This is a INumerable. These are two different data types. Getting it? The first one and the second one are two different data types. This is the output variable is a array of integer. The LINQ query that you have written, that always returns a innumerable. Innumerable is a different data type. Because of this reason, we have to add something to our query. Do you know what is it? Most of you might have got it. You have to write or add a simple thing called dot to array. That means even though it is INumerable of integers, collection of integers, you convert that collection to a collection of array, to array. Now if I write this and save, you can see the error has gone. So you have learned a lot of things here, right? Great. Now how do you print it? Now to print it, we can use a log message box, anything of your choice. Let us drag and drop a message box, for example. Now in the message box, how do you print? How do you print the array? How will you print? First of all, I'll use the method string.join. And within parentheses, you will write how would you like to join it. I'll put a comma. You join them by commas. And then I will pass the OP variable, which is an array of integers. Now, just by writing this, if I'm going to run my code, what would happen? I will be able to print the even numbers. Okay. Now let's see. Let's wait. Now you can see the message box has appeared. And you can see it has filtered the entire array of integers and showed me only the even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now this is a great learning that you have got. Okay, you got the output. Next thing, the next question that we have, let's say you have got a list of strings. We can see this, okay? This is a list of strings. This list of strings contains like hi is first word, hello world, hi Rakesh, hi Ram. These are 4 different words. The question is, can you write a LINQ query, or which one is the appropriate LINQ query to filter words which contains only hi? So here one of the word doesn't contain hi, it is hello word. So how do you write the filter query, LINQ query? Let's see that. Now first thing, let me add the assign activity. In the assign activity, let us write the query. First thing, you have to take the variable name. So here I didn't show you the variable. List A is what kind of a variable? List of strings. Let's click here and first write the string variable, which is list A. Then what? You have to apply the method. What is the method? Where is the method? Then parenthesis. Then simply write the lambda function. Quite simple, easy, right? After that, you have to write the condition. So here, what is the condition? X, the X should contain hi, the word hi. So here you will say X contains, simple. What? In parenthesis, you write the word hi. Okay, close it. Done. So X should contain the word hi. Now this is your filter. You have already created the syntax. Now you need to understand what kind of a output it is going to produce. Now just imagine you have hi, hello world and all those words. Now when it filters, again it provides you a collection, right? Innumerable collection of strings, because it is dealing with strings. So it will provide you, it will return a innumerable collection of strings. So here for the second example, what is the LINQ query is returning you? Your LINQ query is returning you innumerable of strings. The data that you're dealing with, right? It is going to give that. So how do you see it? Simply save this. And here, let us create a variable. Same OP. Okay. So now if you look, read the error. What it says, cannot assign from type system collection innumerable system.string. It is saying system.string to type system.string. This same thing that happened. Last time it said system int 32 because we're dealing with integers. Now it said string because we are dealing with list of strings. The internal data is a string, right? Inside the list. Okay, now in this case, what you do here, let me create a list, browse for data types. And when you are searching for list, simply put this angular bracket. What happens? It gives you the proper thing to select. Here I will select string, list of strings, click OK. Okay, now I have created a OP variable, which is a list of string. But still the error there because it is a innumerable and this is the same concept. Okay, it is an innumerable collection of strings and the variable for OP, your output variable, is a list of what? Strings. That is why these both are two different data types. Because they are two different, all you have to do, you have to write one additional code stating dot to list. Simple. Pretty easy, right? Easy to learn, easy to remember. Very good. Let's click on save. Now, how do you print this? The same mechanism we can apply. Okay, simply I'll copy this message book from the previous XAML and here let me paste it. Same thing. Okay, now if you run it, string.join method. Now I want to see the words which contains only hi. Okay, now you can see hi and then hi Rakesh, hi Ram. So I got my output. So you have learned a new thing here. What you have learned, how to deal with a list with this one and how do you convert that to dot to list. Okay, now let's deal with little more complex data set, that is a data table. So here let me open my Excel file. Okay, so this is my Excel file. Now in this Excel file, the question is you have to filter wherever it is a mango. This entire data row I need, this mango and mango, these two things I need. Rest of the thing I don't want. I want to apply a filter on this data table. This is important and practical. It will be useful. So how do you do this in UiPath Studio? Let's see it. So first thing, I have used the Excel process scope and then used a read range activity and read it and then storing it to a data table called DT. Pretty simple. Okay, so let me minimize this. All of you know this. Okay, now the output, the entire data table from the Excel is stored in the variable dt. Now I have to deal with this dt variable from here. Now let us add the assign activity. Okay, now in the assign activity, let us write the query. As you always begin, you first take the name of the variable. What is the name of the variable? dt dot. And I have told you during this LINQ entire thing, when you are dealing with data table, because LINQ doesn't have its data type data table. So that's why you have to first convert the data table into a collection. For that you have to write as innumerable. And I told you when you see this innumerable word, remember the word collection. So it is a collection. It is you're converting this data row to a collection of data, a data table to collection of data rows. So when you hear this 2 to what, don't get confused. When I say data table, this is the data table. Data rows means these are the data rows. This one row is called data row. So it is a data table is a collection of data rows. Now let's get back. So first thing what we have done, we have converted that data table to collection of data rows. Done. After that, you simply apply the method where. Easy. Same thing we have done. Exactly the same thing you are writing. Then you define your lambda function, which is function, and then you write something like x, y, whatever you want to write. Then using that x element, I am going to write my condition. So what is the condition here? Mango is the condition. X should be equals to mango. Now here you are dealing with a data table. So data table contains multiple columns. So in which column you have that value? In item column. So first you write that item column. Okay, these are case sensitive, so write it properly. So I am saying x item dot toString. Done. Should be equals to what? Equals to, in bracket you write that mango. It should be equals to mango. And remember these are case sensitive, so I'm writing in the same way it is written in the Excel. So it is not capital, so I'm writing M. Okay, in the proper way. Done. Equals to mango. So this is your condition is done. You have written a condition x item dot toString dot equals to, it should be mango. So your condition in entire LINQ query is done. Now let's deal with the output. What kind of output it gives? So let me save it. Okay, let us create the same variable op, hit enter and read the error. Reading the error gives you the idea. If you read the error, what it says, cannot assign from type system data dot same thing collection system dot data rows. It's a collection of system data dot data rows is the collection to type system string. So in this, what kind of a variable will you set for op? So what we can do, we can convert this entire thing to a list, for example, dot to, like we applied in the previous one. I'm saying dot to list. Now here the op variable, can I convert it to, if you look at the error now, what it says, cannot assign from same error. I'll convert this op to list of data rows. Possible? Let's do that. Go to variable and click here, and I'm going to type list angular bracket. This will come, and here again I will select for browse for types, and here I'll simply say data row, and I'll select system.data.data row, and I'm going to click on OK. Now what happened? This op variable is matching this one. Now you can see the error has gone because I've kept my op variable accordingly. It is returning the value because I said dot to list. Again, it's list of strings is different. It is a list of data rows. Accordingly, I put my variable. Easy. You got the concept. Now, how do you print it? Now to print it, you can't use a message box because it is not a single row. It is a list of data rows. It contains three columns. So for that, we'll use a for each activity. Okay. And all these things that you're learning, ensure you are storing it somewhere so that you don't lose it. With time, you might forget, but if you have stored it somewhere, you can always refer it. So remember to spend little time to write it or take a screenshot and keep it in Word document, wherever you like. Now here, what I will be passing OP and the current item. Then how do I print it? Now to print it, let's do one thing. we'll use a log message because it's going to loop multiple times. I'll say log message. And here, how do you write it? Let's see, how do you write it? So what contains your list of data rows? Correct item, right? It is in the loop. Here, what I will do, I'll write the column name. What is the column name? Item is the column name. I want to print that dot to string, right? Dot to string. And then I'll use a plus sign, and then I'll give a comma, right? So little space will give so that we can read it properly, and plus sign, and the same thing I'll repeat. And here, change the quantity. The next field is quantity as per the Excel. Okay, quantity. So exactly you write it. After you have done this, hit on save and let us run it. Now what I am expecting out of the entire data table, I will just get 2 data rows, right? And you can see the output pretty well. I got mango 5. If you want to print the ID column, you can simply mention that, like I have done, mango 5, mango 20. You got it? How easily we have done it by understanding the concept. So if you have a complete understanding of the basics, you know how to build the LINQ query. So that is the theme of this video. So thank you for watching. I'm going to add so many videos in this so that you get clear cut concept around LINQ query. So any condition given to you, you know how to play with the query and get what is needed if your basics are right. So let's move on to our next topic, guys.